Hey guys, Jeff Jones here with Jack's Collectibles, and today I have a slightly different kind of video for you guys compared to the normal pack opening that Max likes to do. And this is something that I've wanted to do for a while, but there haven't been a lot of cards that have excited me or interested me to really talk about. And so today I want to go over some of the new cards that were revealed in Japan that do have me really excited, and I can't wait for them to come out. And that are some of the new Rose cards and the new Ignister cards. For those of you who are close to me or may know me, Black Rose Dragon is one of my favorite cards of all time. It's my second favorite, right next to Sacred Phoenix of Nephtes. And I love plants. Plants are like my favorite deck, and I'm just really excited overall with the kind of direction these cards are going with. Even if they don't end up being extremely competitive, there are a lot of cool things I think you can do with them. So we're just going to go right ahead, and here is Jack. Hello. Let me move this. Oh, hello. That's a good shot of Jack. So, no, don't jump up here. The first one is Basal Rose Shoot, which is a quick play spell. And you can special summon a Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard in defense mode. Come here. Alright. If this set card is destroyed, you can target one of your Black Rose Dragon or a card that says Black Rose Dragon in its card text in your banished or graveyard and special summon it. This card is really good. It is now searchable with one of these other cards. You can summon a Rose monster and link summon into a dragon, link 1, then play the spell to bring it back to go into a link 2. So yeah, overall, pretty strong card. The second effect, when its set card is destroyed, so if you were to summon Black Rose Dragon and destroy all cards in the field, if you had that set, you could then bring your Black Rose Dragon back to the field. That seems to be a recurring theme with some of these Black Rose Dragon cards. So the new boss monster, which looks sweet, is Blood Rose Dragon, which is a level 10 generic synchro. If it's synchro summoned, you can banish all cards from the graveyard, and if it was synchro summoned using Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster, you can destroy all other cards on the field. When your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy cards, quick effect, you contribute this card to negate it, and special summon a Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. So I think this first effect is obviously very, very strong. I think a lot of times banishing all cards from graveyard, especially in the current environment, is stronger than destroying all cards in the field. When you have things like Drytron or things like Eldlick, banishing their entire graveyard is kind of just like game over for them a lot of the times, because they need to be able to use those resources over and over again next turn. The second effect, I wish it was something different. A lot of cards this format don't necessarily destroy. A lot of them are doing a lot of banishing and stuff like that. I wish it did something a little bit different, maybe like negate something that targeted. I'm not really sure. Negating anything would probably be a little quite crazy. For what it is, I think it's very, very strong. We have Rox Rose Dragon, which is the monster form of the Link monster Cross Rose Dragon, and it is a level 3 Dark Dragon tuner. And when it's normal or special summoned, you can add a card that lists Black Rose Dragon in its card text from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, and a face-up Rose Dragon monster or plant synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can add this card to your hand. So this card is very good. It's definitely a great addition to the Rose Dragon cards. When I first read this card, I was extra excited because I was like, oh man, you can normal summon this card and search for White Rose Dragon. Then since you have a Dragon Tuner, you can special summon White Rose from hand, and that right there is a level 7 synchro, or a Crystal Needle Fiber if you wanted to. So getting instant access to Black Rose, I was like, yes, this is something that the deck really needed. Then I was really sad to read a little closer on White Rose Dragon and see that it doesn't actually specifically list Black Rose Dragon in its card text. It just says Rose Dragon, so this card cannot search for White Rose Dragon. It can, however, search for the spell card, which is still good, so this is still a good card. Again, if a face-up Rose Dragon monster or plant synchro monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, So that means that if you were to synchro this into Black Rose Dragon and Black Rose destroys everything, once Black Rose destroys itself, you can add this card back to your hand, so you can use it again next turn. So it's good recursion. A common theme of Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays is that a lot of the strongest decks can recur their resources. So besides the fact being able to play with 1 or 2 cards, if you can recur your resources, that deck probably has a much stronger chance of being relevant to the meta. So that's a very good effect to have on this card. Blood Rose Witch. I don't really understand this card really. It's cool that it uses an old Yu-Gi-Oh card, but the effect, it's just not too great. So you contribute this card as level 1 plant tuner. You contribute this card, add a Witch of the Black Rose from your deck to your hand, and you can place a level 3 or lower plant monster from your deck on top of your deck, then immediately normal summon Witch of the Black Rose from your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard to return one of your Black Rose monsters that is banished from your graveyard to your extra deck. Witch of the Black Rose is a spellcaster tuner that says cannot be normal summoned, or cannot be special summoned. When it's normal summoned, you control another card. You can draw a card. If it's a monster, you keep it. If it's not, it goes to graveyard, you destroy it. So effectively, you're going to tribute this to, like, basically special summon the Black Rose Witch from your deck to draw a card, and to draw any level 3 or lower plant monster. The problem with this is that all level 3 and lower plant monsters that I looked at in the game do not have any effect to special summon from the hand, really. So you're just kind of stuck there with that Black Rose Witch. You can't really do anything afterwards. So I think this card is, what we know right now is not great. Then we have Garden Rose Flora, which is a level 5 Synchro tuner. So this is like Garden Rose Maiden, but it's a tuner instead of a non-tuner. It's 800, 1600. So whenever I look at any of the Rose Dragon cards or plant cards in general, the first thing I look at, almost always, is if their attack points are a multiple of 800, because you get to use the second effect, Black Rose Garden, which says you can destroy all plant monsters in the field and summon a monster from your graveyard with attack equal to the amount of plant monsters you killed. When you're summoning all these monsters with Black Rose Garden face up, you're creating these 800 attack tokens. So if you use the effect of Black Rose Garden to destroy, let's say, the 3 tokens you gave your opponent, you can still summon a 2400 attack monster from your graveyard, which is obviously like Black Rose. So the thing is that all of these are, so you have 3200, 1600, so this means if you destroy 2 tokens with Black Rose Garden, you can summon this back. This is 800, so you can summon that back. This is 800, so you can summon that back. So that's something to keep in mind when you're using these cards. So you can target 1 field spell on the field. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except synchro monsters. Destroy that target and special summon a Rose token to its controller's field in attack mode. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. So effectively what this does is let you Black Rose for your opponent's turn. You can use its effect to kill your Black Garden, creating a token for yourself. So then you have a level 5 tuner and a level 2 non-tuner. Then you can start synchro summoning on your opponent's turn into Black Rose Dragon. This card is good, but something I'm going to go over is that I don't know how you are making something like Garden Rose Maiden or Garden Rose Flora in an effective way anymore without Link Cross, because the tokens were really kind of like the best way to go into those cards, I feel like. We'll go over here. One other card I want to talk about briefly is that it was just shown in Japan, is Stay Sailor Romarine, which is a level 4 plant tuner, and she says the relevant part of her effect is if she's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can send a level 5 or lower plant monster from your deck or your extra deck to the graveyard. So what's cool about this is that you can use Mathematician to send her to the graveyard, triggering her effect, and then you can send Spore. So then you can banish with Spore to make it come back to level 5, and then you can either make Needle Flavor or a level 8 Synchro. So then you can make something like Chaos Ruler, which is a very powerful card. So this is a very good plant support, probably pretty good for these kind of cards right here. So back to the Rose Maiden problem I found is that there's no really a good way to make those cards. I looked at like the level 2 monsters. So what you really need is a level 2 monster that you can special summon from your hand or something like that. Because with Red Rose Dragon and Rock Rose Dragon, these are level 3 tuners, and then you would want a level 2 tuner special summon from your hand to synchro with them. There really just isn't any that are like too great. What I found is that maybe something like Quick Launch could be used to help facilitate this, as well as some of your other stuff. So Quick Launch can summon a level 2 non-tuner as well as a level 1 tuner. That way, if you have Quick Launch, you can special summon White Rose from your hand, and then you immediately have a level 5 that you can synchro into. This card also, I guess, I forgot that White Rose Dragon foolishes a level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck when you synchro with it. So then you can also send the Stay Sailor romarine. So kind of, I think the basic combo, what you're going to go with most of the time is if you have a way for like White Rose and then a combination of either like Rock Rose or Red Rose. So with this, you would get your White Rose and then one of these on the field. So let's say it's Red Rose. You then synchro for your level 7. Something else that I forgot about is, here it is. This should be in the extra deck. So it's a level 7, which is relevant because you can synchro for 7 quite easily. That says, during your main phase, you can special summon a level 5 or higher plant monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. This card, pretty cool. I'm not quite sure. So it's level 5 or higher. I think it really depends. I'll get into that later. But still a very relevant card. When you synchro with White Rose and Red Rose, or the Rock Rose, let's just say it's these two, you'll make your Black Rose, and then this will trigger the effect of White Rose and trigger the effect of Red Rose. So Red Rose will special summon a Rose Dragon from your deck, so you can special summon the Rock Rose, and then White Rose will Foolish Burial a level 4 or higher plant. So then you can send the Star Sailor. So then Star Sailor's effect will trigger, and you can send a level 5 or lower plant monster from your deck or extract to the graveyard. So this is where you can send Spore, or something cool you can do is you can send Garden Rose Maiden to the graveyard, and it has this graveyard effect where you can banish it to special summon a Rose Dragon or a Dragon Synchro from your graveyard. So this gives you another way to special summon monsters in order to facilitate your synchro plays. So depending on what your hand is or what kind of play you're trying to make, you can send Spore or the Garden Rose Maiden. Since you also special summoned Rock Rose, now your field is Black Rose Dragon and Rock Rose. Rock Rose effect will activate, so then you can search your deck for Petal Rose Shoot, so then you have another way to special summon monsters, and then that immediately, because you have a level 7, level 3, lets you synchro for your level 10 Blood Rose Dragon. That is kind of like the generic-ish combo of how to get into Blood Rose, as well as other plays setting things up. Trying to think of like some other cool stuff. Like let's look at, because what I was thinking is that if you synchro for 7, so like these two, you can send Sage Koya to the graveyard, and when you synchro for 7, you can make Perialis, and then Perialis can bring back Sage Koya. And then you have a rank 7, which could be kind of cool. So let's see if you made a rank 7. So you can make Aurea, or in general, you can make Mecha Phantom Beast, because that creates tokens. That would be kind of cool. So then so let's say you did do that. Oh gosh. I didn't even think about some of this stuff. So if you were to do that, you can special summon a Rock Rose from your deck, use Perialis to bring back your Sage Koya, overlay for Draco Sack, get 2 tokens that are level 3. Then you can synchro, I think. That could be kind of cool because that's level. You can make Trishula or Aromaseraphie Sweet Margarine. So this card is super powerful. I definitely need to sit down and think more about some of what you can do with this stuff. I digress. Let's go to the next thing, which is the Ignister cards, which in general I think are more competitive than the Black Rose cards, especially because now you can make a 1-card Link 6, their boss monster, which that card is like Clive Towers, pretty strong. So the first card, of course, Konami loves their puns, so it's called When AI First Met You. Reveal a Cyberse monster with 2300 attack from your hand or extra deck. If you do, add an Ignister monster with the same attributes from your deck to your hand. You cannot activate monster effects for us to turn except Cyberse monsters. During the end phase, you can If you do not summon that monster, you take 2300 damage. So this is like another Rhoda that's searchable for them. You don't have to discard anything like you would for the Sign Up Mining. This card is very, very strong, very good. Dark Infant Ignister, which is a Link 1 Cyberse monster. It takes a non-Link Ignister monster. If he's Link summoned, you can add Ignister AI land from your deck to your hand. And when a Cyberse monster with 2300 attack activates its effect, you can move this card to your main monster zone it points to, and change this card's attribute to any attribute at the end of the turn. So, immediately when you look at this card, it's like a lot of other Link 1s that search as a field spell for the deck. So that's very strong, especially since you really need AI land to really make your deck work for the Ignisters. The second effect, when I first read it, I was like, I don't really know when you're going to use this effect until I started playing with the deck a couple hands. I've only been working on this deck for like an hour, but I got all these ideas and realized that it is relevant, and I will show that in a minute. So then these last cards I don't think are too relevant. So you have You and AI, continuous spell. If a Cyberse monster with 2300 original attack is special summoned, you can activate one of these effects based on the attribute. Earth or water, half the attack of a monster. Wind or light, negate the effects of a face-up card. Fire or dark, special summoning Ignister token. Obviously, that's the most relevant one, getting a token to extend your play somewhat. In general, still though, maybe a one of because you can search it. So then you have Dawn Mari Ignister. It's a level 6 effect monster, 2300 attack. When an attack is involving your Ignister monster happens, you can special summon from your hand and negate the attack. If you control a Link 6 monster, quick effect, banish this card from your field or graveyard. Target a face-up card your opponent controls to negate its effect at the end of the turn. This effect is really strong when you have the Link 6 out, and I think you probably play one of this since you can Foolish Burial it to the graveyard with one of the Ignister effects. Probably a one of, I believe. And then the last card is Mono, AI Mono, Trap Continuous. Monsters your opponent control lose 100 attack for each card you control. If your Ignister monster battles, your opponent can activate card effects until the end of the turn. When your Ignister monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon a Cyberse monster with 2200 attack in your graveyard. Again, this card is like trap card, pretty not good. So the best ones are definitely the first two, the spell, the Link monster, and then this guy's okay. We'll go take a look at what I had built for the Ignisters. And something I want to talk about briefly is that before this card, AI Contact was basically unplayable, but with the Link 1 now, this card is probably actually pretty good. It says if you control the field spell, you can reveal another field spell from your hand, the Ignister AI land, put it at the bottom of your deck and draw 3 cards. So now that if you open up with a field spell, regular hand, you can summon the Picari to search for AI Contact, then go into the Link 1 to search for another field spell, and then you can draw 3 cards. So that seems pretty good as a one-of. I think that could be really strong. You might not need it still, but for right now, I just have it as a one-of. Other than that, let's just go kind of into this combo to the 1-card rank 6. Alright, so all you need is either of these guys. Alright, so if you don't with either of these guys, you can do it. We'll say you have Aichi. So Aichi will normal summon, and then you'll just go ahead and search your Picari. Go ahead and go into the Link 1. Search our decks for the field spell. Activate the field spell and special summon from our hand Picari, and use the effect to search for an AI spell. So we will grab the new Rhoda and go ahead and play it. And we'll just reveal Templar. Search our deck for a dark. Something cool about this combo also is that it lets you recoup your resources as you're playing them. A common theme in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that not only do you need your deck to play off just 1 or 2 cards, but also decks that can recoup their resources end up being very strong. This is something that does that. So go ahead and go into a Link 2, Splash Mage. I love this card. So we'll go ahead and use AI land to special summon Ignister Doyan from hand. So he will go ahead and add back an Ignister monster from grave. So we'll give back Aichi. The reason why we get back Aichi is because we haven't special summoned it from our hand with the field spell yet. Then we will go ahead and use Splash Mage to bring back Picari. Now we go ahead and link 3 for our Dark Templar. Since we link summoned with Doyan, we get to add back an AI spell. So this is, like I said, now next turn you have this to search for your deck for another card. We'll go ahead and special summon from our hand the Aichi. And then this is like where I didn't realize that like this is what you needed this card for. So you go ahead and link summon the Dark Infant, and you will trigger the effect of Ignister to special summon guys, and then the effect of Infant to move itself and change its attribute. So then, and change its attribute. So go ahead and move that wherever, special summon 2 guys back. Not this guy though. I guess that doesn't really matter. And then change its level. So you want to change it to something you don't already have. So we'll say we'll change it to wind. Then we get to go ahead and 3, 4, 5, 6. Where is this guy? Here we are. The Arrival Cyber's Ignister. So then we synchroed into him, or we linked into him using, he is the original attack is times 1,000 of the number of link materials. So we used 4, so he becomes 4,000. And he's unaffected by all other cards' effects. Once per turn, you can target one other monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do, you're supposed to summon an Ignister token. So, yeah, 4,000 attack that's unaffected by everything. I'm pretty sure that is almost an instant win versus a lot of decks. The only way a lot of these decks get over it is with the access code talker. With 1 card, you get to make this guy, and then you have all your other cards. You'll still have 4 cards in hand, 5 plus this. So then you can use hand traps or trap cards, whatever you want. So I think a 1 card, 4,000 attack, unaffected by everything, is pretty freaking good. So depending on how the format goes when these cards come out, it's not until I think May that probably I think these cards come out. We'll definitely have ban list. This combo is, a 1 card combo, it is prone to Nibiru though. Other than that, I still think like a 4,000 attack unaffected by everything is just incredibly strong. And I'm excited to try and mess around with this deck and the Black Rose cards a little bit more, especially since I figured out some other stuff with the Black Rose deck. But so this was exciting. I hope you guys like this kind of video. If you want more, let me know. Other than that, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. See you later.